this break. The basic idea of all dynamometers today, except electronic, hydraulic, electronic, water, whatever they are, the M and W's you see in the farm dealers, they all basically try to do the same thing. Horsepower is, I'm out of breath a bit, I ran over there to the engines and back. Horsepower is a measurement of work. If I push on here with 1 pound or 100 or 1,000, doesn't move, it's 0 horsepower. If you got a force and also movement, those two things, you got a measurement of work. Work's being done. If I push on here with 1 pound and I move that 1 pound 100 feet in a minute, or I put on here 10 pounds and move it 1 foot a minute, it works the same, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter how much RPM you got by itself or how much load you got by itself. You got to have two. If it's a little bit of load going real fast, it might equal a big load going slow, like I tried to just tell you. So we have some sheets we're going to let you have if you'd like to have them. I don't have any load on it, but if we ran here for any length of time, I'd have to add a lot of water because the steam would come up. Now, let's listen to it first. It's running, obviously, at no load. Now, you can all see that, not all of you, but most of you can see that fly-ball governor up there, can't you? Now, that fly-ball governor does all the controls. Once that engineer, in this case Steve, has opened his throttle, he's got the throttle open, and that's all he has to do. The governor does the rest. Now, for example, I don't know if you can see it, whether the roof shades it too much, but right now that governor would be in a position where the fly balls are away from the center, far enough to shut the steam down to only barely run it at no load, right? Now, if I put the load on, the second that engine slows down, those fly balls will move toward the center, and the springs will be overcome and add steam. Now we'll listen first. That's done by the governor. He worked on the governor. It was a little sluggish yesterday. Now, if you look at those fly balls real carefully, I'll do it suddenly, and you'll be able to see them move. Now watch. See them move? Now, a double-cylinder engine like this one will usually not be as loud as a big single-cylinder would be because each exhaust comes from a smaller cylinder. But nevertheless, the principle is the same. Steve, I think you should tighten just a little bit. I had slippage here. It does. Now, let's take a little example here of what that engine might be sounding like. Let's imagine ourselves where you are watching, not this demonstration, but you're watching that engine threshing. And they're threshing in earnest. About 8 bundle wagons, a crew of 20-some men. And we'll say that that load right there, just as an example, would be the light end. And as they put those bundles in there, they space them out sometimes they double them. The load would be constantly changing like this. you know, you'd have a couple of wise guys who didn't like to work too much. They'd be on the bundle wagon. They'd throw about 4 bundles in there at once. And if they could choke it up, they'd have a rest, you see, while the threshermen had to take it all out. And when that happened, you'd have something like this. I won't try to kill him, or throw the belt, but it would be like this. What happened? Did she open up? Not opening. There we go. Well, anyway, it would be like this. And he just about choked it up. If he made it through, fine. But either case, whether he succeeded in choking it or not, he'd likely be down the road within an hour. Quite, but nearly. We'll say the engine's running there like it is right now. No load, the saw spinning in midair. We have a saw there. You can go watch that do it. The same thing. The log's on the carriage, and the carriage moves forward, and the log hits the saw, and you get this.